Panda. I got broads in Atlanta, just to throw me in the family. Credit cards and the scammers, getting no licks in the band. Legacies.
Hi everyone, my name is Shirjo and I make videos on lifestyle and tech. If you already haven't subscribed to my channel, please do that. It surely would help and motivate me to make more videos like this. Today we'll learn about C++ and pointers. Please watch till the end to learn something new. A pointer is nothing but a variable which stores the address of another declared variable. So we already have a variable a and we are initializing a pointer ptr with the asterisk. So that is the thing which we use, and we are assigning it the address of variable a. So let's see what ptr gives us. It should give us the address of variable a and we are printing that out. So we can have pointers of different types. So in the first example we used a pointer of int type. Now in this one we can change it to float. Now float is the type of the variable which we are declaring, and we can add a decimal point after that according to its property. Let's check now that if we also have to check the type of the pointer. Yes, we do have to. So they are interlinked together, and let's check what would be the address of this, and I have assigned it to be perfect. So this is an example of using another type of pointer. Now the pointer types are as same as you can get for the normal primitive data types. We have double, we have char, as well as user defined data types like struct. So let's move on and see how we can manipulate the data members using a pointer variable. So we can use an asterisk name of the variable and assign it a new value. When we print it, we get the value of the data member which was originally stored. Now we are accessing that through a pointer here. So that's a very useful feature which developers tend to use a lot. Now character arrays are quite often used in C++. Let's see how we can declare a pointer to a character array. So I've defined a character array with a name and the value is Elon Musk, since I'm a huge follower. So we are going to be writing a character pointer and we'll make it equal to the address. So it, when we write name, it references to the first member of the array name, and we'll have to use a for loop to iterate over each character. So let's iterate till the size of the array, which is name, and we'll be using cout and printing each member. So we can do either, you can say name, and we'll print the characters inside it, and after each character is printed we'll add a new line. Let's see how that works out and run the program. So as you can see, Elon Musk gets printed like that. This example we shall be looking at a void pointer. So a void pointer doesn't have any type. Let's take two variables here. One is a and the second would be b. A is an integer, b is a character array having a space of 2, and then we'll declare, okay, this is how we used to declare int star ptr, right, which is of type int. Now let's change it to something like void. So void is a keyword, and then void star ptr, we can assign it the address of a, and we can also assign it to the address of b. So that's quite convenient, and we can further typecast it as well. Okay, I think we have to reduce one space, and now this program should work. So yeah, that's pretty much it about void pointers. They're super useful when you're trying to, return a function which doesn't have any type. Moving on, we shall now be seeing how we can reference pointer arithmetic and use it to our liking. So let's declare a character array of, let's say the name should be city. I have initialized it to Paris, and then this city pointer would be created, which would be storing the address of the character array city. So we don't have to write ampersand while doing that, and let's try to print what's over there at the first index of this array. So it should return the letter P. Let's kind of check that out and just make sure that this is a valid function. So yeah, let's run this code and check how it works. Perfect, we have the capital P, which is the first member of this array. Now we can also change it slightly and put in the brackets and add +2, so it will point to the third character in the string, which is R, and we have the program printing out R. So that's quite convenient.
Another useful feature of pointers is that they can be very conveniently used with structures. So let's create a structure over here called struct rectangle. And let's have two data members inside it. One will be the length and the other would be the breadth. So the way which we call a structure variable here in C++ is rectangle R1. We can use struct also, but that was necessary in C, but in C++ we can omit that. So R1 is a variable of rectangle structure. Now let's write a pointer variable which will be pointing to R1 and assign that a value as the address of R1. So moving on, what we can do, oops, I think I'll have to add a semicolon after struct, but we'll do that later. Now there are a couple of ways in accessing this. So we can dereference the pointer variable like this, put it in a bracket, and then use the dot operator to access the structure like we usually do for normal structures. I have assigned the length as 20, and we can do the same for breadth. ptr_var dot breadth is equal to, let's say, 15. Cool. Now after we've done that, let's try to print these values out, but before doing that, we can write a function called calculate area, and this function would take in two parameters, right? One is L and B, and let's return L into B. It should technically multiply the two operands. We can check out the result in cout line, where we'll call the calculate area function, and we can write it like this: r1.length, r1.breadth, because this would reside in the data members. The values are already initialized in line numbers 28 and 29. So yep, let's see, are we having any errors? Let's see if we're good to go. Okay, we are. The build has succeeded and we are getting the area of this rectangle, which is 300. There's another way which we can write this star and dot, so we can use and replace that with an arrow operator. So an arrow operator is much more convenient in writing, and it does the same execution and references the length and breadth of the rectangle R1. So we're getting the same result as you can see over here. So now we shall look further using the previous example on how we can use call by address, which is a very popular method for changing the data members of any program. Now we are accessing the values of r1.length and r1.breadth like this, but if we put an ampersand symbol before each of these arguments, then it will change the values in those respective components, right? And even if we change it inside the function, which is calculate area over here, these changes would be reflected back in the actual original structure. So that's quite interesting. Let's have a look at that. And now for that, this is how we would usually do it, right? This is call by value type of syntax, which is used for functions. But now we'll try to print the area with some changes. Let's see how that works. Oops, I'm getting an error. I intentionally forgot to write asterisk over here. Now let's see what changes do we further have to make so that we remove this error. So as you can see, the compiler is showing that we are not accessing the pointers, we are accessing the normal parameters. So
So we will have to write an asterisk before L, which is a length, and before B as well. But here I've just given some random values to the length and breadth. So we're actually not using B at all, so I'm just using length just for the sake of this program. Stay with me. We're gonna be accessing this and calculating the area, so let's see how that works. So I'll just comment the last line of code out since we're not using it anymore, and let's run this program. The build has succeeded, and we are just okay. Since we're not printing any value, let's do that. Let's make that one more line, see out. Now let's check the area, and brilliant, we're getting 15, which is 5 into 3. So that solves the purpose of using call by address. So right now we are going to be checking and creating a new structure. So I'll name the structure superhero, and we'll have maybe 2 data members which would be part of it. The first one is going to be the name of the superhero, which is a character array, and next is going to be the age, which is an integer. Okay, I'll put that on the top so that it looks good and nice and comfy. And now we'll move over to the main function and create an object variable. Let's call that we can call it anything, but for this particular video, let's call it Cap Amer, like that's short of Captain America. I know I could have come up with a better name. So since it is a pointer to a structure, we'll have to use the asterisk, and here we'll try to use a malloc function. Now a malloc function takes in the size of the data type or data member, and it returns a piece of memory from the heap, and we have to typecast it with the correct structure, or you can say type or data type, so that it can typecast it from the void pointer which it usually returns. So that is why we have to write struct superhero star, so that it gets typecasted to struct type from void, which is returned by malloc. So that's about the malloc function. Now we'll try to do something else. We'll try to print the age and name. So let's do that. So I've written a simple cout and cin. So we have used the arrow operator here, so or you can call it a symbol. So this is going to be accessing that object variable, and the pointer is pointing to it, so we can write the access parameters for this structure as capamer arrow age and capamer arrow name. Now you can skip that endl, which I will do at the end of the lines 22 and 24, but let's try to print this out and check how the output looks like. So these are all simple cout statements, and we'll write a line which tells the user that the name is and the age is this. Let's check that out. So I've removed the endl at the end of the cin statements. Now let's type in the age of the hero and the name and see what the output looks like. Perfect. Name is Thor and age is 20. Now a very frequently asked question by a lot of programmers is that what is the use of this keyword? So we can use this to reference the current object which is being called into the memory, and this should usually work for any number of objects. As you can see, we are printing the area and perimeter of a class rectangle. So that's all you need to know about pointers.